welcome to the new show, sports show, Bust Picks. It's going to take me a second to get there. My name is Dio Reynoso. I'm here with
Don Behan. How we doing?
Don, do you have a fact for me?
Yes, I do have a fun fact today.
Let's hear it.
So, did you know the average golf ball has 336 dimples on it?
If you would have asked me to bet on how many dimples it had, I would have said 1,000. No. So I was wrong.
You were wrong.
I was wrong.
It did take a lot of counting. It took a lot of time to count each individual one, but we got there.
We got there. I wouldn't have gotten there. Hi, guys. Welcome to our new show. It's called Bust Picks. Me and Don, we had a show before. Forget about that one. This is our new baby. It's just like when you have a second child, you forget about the first one. Yeah.
But already started. Awesome.
Bust Picks is a cool show. We're gonna be talking about sports all around, but most importantly, we're gonna give you our opinions, our picks, because we're gamblers now, as we always were. But
yeah, we have a little. We're doing a little bit better now. We're able to have a little bit more fun with it. These might be wrong. That's the whole idea. These are busts.
It might be bust picks, for sure.
Yes.
Right now, me and you might be the hottest gamblers in America, though.
We've done well over the weekend. But none of them were for the nation to see. So we'll see how this goes.
For sure. All right. So before we start, we have a little bit of a different intro. Don, do you want to give us the first topic? I'll do it. Fine.
Yeah, let's hear this.
We're going to start every episode with a sports question of the day.
Okay.
All right. Today's sports question is, what's the best highlight? Is it a one-handed catch?
All right.
In a football game, or a dunk?
Ooh. I'm going to say a one-handed catch.
You're going to go one-handed catch.
I'm going one-handed catch on this.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
I figured you would.
Give me your point.
Well, okay, because I think the average game in the NBA sees many dunks. That's not a unique thing in a game, versus if a guy makes a great one-handed catch, that's the highlight for the weekend, arguably the season.
For sure. A huge one-handed catch. I mean, I'm still seeing Odell catch that play 10 years later.
That's still an image in a video that's played everywhere.
But a insane dunk, watching LeBron come down the court and just yamming it on someone.
That D-Wade tomahawk pass.
Dude, there's nothing memed more than the D-Wade tomahawk pass where he's walking out like this. That's one of the best highlights of my life.
It is. I think a dunk has a higher peak, but I think just consistently what is going to make me go, oh my goodness, that's incredible every time is going to be the one-handed catch.
When I ask you what's the one-handed catch in your head that you think of, your favorite one, what is it? Is it the Odell catch?
It has to be the Odell catch. I think that's generic for everybody.
I think that's because we were so young. I was 10 years ago exactly now, and when I saw it, first off, I didn't get to see it live. I was picking up something for my mom. I came home and everyone was losing their mind over that catch. Very angry about that.
Yeah.
There's a one-handed catch that happened last year. The Justin Jefferson Buffalo Bills one-handed catch. That is my favorite one-handed catch.
Oh, that is such a good one.
That's a great one, right?
That is solid.
It's still not as good as the DeAndre Jordan Lob City where he's running down and he just kills someone. Or if you really just want to watch insane dunk highlights, just turn on Blake Griffin highlights and you'll just go, wow, this guy was insane.
I mean, anything by Shaq, any highlight reel by Shaq is up there as well.
All right. So let's move on to our next segment. It is called Run It Back. We're going to talk about some of the weekend's most pivotal games in depth. Let's start the day with a game that's close to your heart as a Ravens fan, Don. Let's start with the Bengals and Ravens.
Oh, I'm so excited this game turned out the way it did.
Would you have
big win? Big win?
Would you have been very angry if this is a team you would have lost to?
Not this early in the season. If this was a later season game, I would have been more upset. This early, after the Houston game, it felt like the offense was still trying to find its footing coming into this week.
They looked rough against Houston. I mean, they still beat them by
they still beat them,
scores.
But it wasn't the amount that you expected to beat Houston
for sure. Not the Lamar week one that we always expect.
Exactly. I was expecting 4 or 5 touchdowns out of the Ravens offense. Just wasn't there. But the offense showed up in this game.
I've been telling people all year. I bet it. I'm addicted to futures now. I'm taking the Ravens future odds to win the Super Bowl. I think they're in a spot where this is the most weapons Lamar's ever had.
Easily, yes.
I do think Odell's a little washed, but Nelson Aguilar, I think Zay Flowers is a legit wide receiver one. Mark Andrews when healthy, Isaiah Likely. I know they lost J.K. Dobbins, but like they're gonna figure it out running the ball. That's literally the last thing they have to figure out.
Yeah.
I've told you about this defense. You know about this defense. This might be one of the best defenses in football right now.
It's scary because the D-line is just young guys who want to get after the ball.
And
The secondary, did you see the almost rock bottom that they threw on Jamar Chase in the
saw
quarter
that.
pass?
They
That was-
were manhandling Jamar and T. Higgins. I know T. Higgins had a couple touchdowns, but like
No, T. Higgins
Yeah.
got broken free. That's just elite talent rising.
Yeah.
It's always going to happen no matter what corner you're against.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
But just the secondary guys that, for the most part, are backups. Like, remember, Humphreys is still out until week 4, week 5.
No, I know.
So the secondary is only going to improve over time.
And they're young in like the back end, like safeties. Like they're only getting smarter, better running that scheme. But you're missing
Exactly.
the biggest name on that defense. The Roquan Queen linebacker tandem is not only the best tandem on the defensive side of the ball. It is. I was gonna say not only the best linebacker combo, I think it's the best 1-2 punch on the defensive side of the ball in the NFL.
It's scary because Queen has taken such an immense step forward ever since the addition of Roquan.
Roquan and him are like competing for like tackles. They're insane.
They're making bets on between themselves on who could have the best play, who could have the best highlight on the field. It's like, guys, don't do that.
And it's even more fun because like their friendship is like so genuine. You see them like they're like genuinely having a blast playing the game.
It reminds me of like when we used to coach flag football, like when we
Yeah.
coached the under 15 division,
Children.
and when kids would just like it look when they play, it looks like those kids like that 1 or 2 elite talents on a team that are just at that age they're just a little bit more developed, can see the game a little bit differently, and they could
cut
just
of the notch
do
better.
and they just do whatever they want, and they know they can, and they're just out there having the best time doing it.
So as I was saying, like the Ravens, I had big expectations. I had them to win the division in a close division race. The team I had in last coming into this division was the Bengals.
That's a hot take.
I
That's
know,
a hot take for a
it was
lot of
hot take.
people.
That wasn't just for the people. I know this is, look, the Bengals aren't supposed to be where they're at. I don't believe in Taylor as a coach. I do love Joe Burrow, as does everyone. I know some people are like he's
most
falling
people.
apart.
I'm just worried about his health. That's the biggest thing at the end of the day.
Same for
Is
me.
can he stay healthy?
That offensive line is like, I know they keep investing in it, but like until I see it, I can't believe it, you know?
Yeah. And they haven't shown any dedication yet. Like all the moves that they've made have not shown me improvement in any significant way yet.
Lyle Collins was a good sign.
He was a good sign, but he's not, hey, we're going to go protect the now highest paid NFL player ever.
Well,
That's not where it's at.
I mean, that got broken today. Patrick Mahomes is now the highest paid player in NFL history over a 4-year span. But
goodness.
like, yeah,
Yes.
so specific. But like, dude, Patrick Mahomes is like so far better than Joe Burrow. It's crazy. But Joe Burrow is hurt, and I want to keep saying
re-injured that calf strain during the game with like 3:40 left to play.
dude. But like, that defense is not what it was. They lost Bates on the back end, who was like an anchor. I know.
That's always been the Bengals' biggest issue in my mind is they do not pay their secondary. I don't
No.
know what's up with the ownership, and that's been one of the biggest complaints that I hear like in AFC groups and everything, especially AFC North groups,
Yeah.
is why the Bengals don't pay the secondary. I don't understand it.
We're going to be talking more about the Bengals in a later segment.
Yes.
Let's move on to another game. Let's move on to the Titans versus Chargers. All right. I'm a Colts fan, if you
Yes.
can't tell. I hate the Titans. I hate the Titans more than any other team in my division. I hate them so much.
Yes.
I hate Derrick Henry. This is a long feuding beef. Everybody knows about this.
Yeah, if you go follow at
Bus Picks or at Dio Reynoso or at Loser, you'll see me.
you'll see every Derrick Henry hot take in the world,
world.
is single-handedly by this man.
I've hated Derrick Henry since 2015 when he was at Alabama. It's been a long road for me. Anyway, I think they might be okay, which is like devastating to me. I think like Ryan Tannehill was killing it, and I don't know if it's more of the Chargers defense is just that bad or Ryan Tannehill's just they're gonna squeeze whatever's left out of him.
Tannehill, I think we saw his floor last week with the 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
We saw his ceiling, I think, this week.
Okay.
Where he played a relatively clean game, it just, to me, visually, and I don't know if this is, I don't have a stat to back it up. This is just me watching the game. He looks slower with his throwing
I mean,
motion.
he's 35,
No, but
34.
just the step from last season to this season, it just visually looks like it's taking an extra second or two to get a ball out. And that worries me long term.
It's very worrisome. But, like, dude, Derrick Henry's going to Derrick Henry, and it
He's gonna
sounds
be
like he's
fine.
the immortal god. That defensive line is, like, so good.
Well, they held the Chargers 2 for 14 on third downs this game. That defense can still clamp down.
That's because they somehow convinced themselves that Josh Kelly was like a legit running back one in week 1.
I mean, he looked it, but that was against Miami. Miami
Yeah.
can't stop. You and I can run for 50 against Miami.
So that's an interesting take. I mean, we're not there, but I do want to talk about if you were on the Eagles, an Eagles running back behind that offensive line and the holes they were putting against, could you rush for 40 yards behind the Eagles offensive line?
I think it's possible.
I think
it's possible.
Insane that you believe that.
I know it's crazy, but part of me is like, I just trust those big dudes
There
that
was
much. I just
10-yard
trust.
spurts though where DeAndre Swift was not touched
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think I could at least get 5 out of that.
and just hit the ground every time there's a
Yeah,
player around it.
just dive immediately.
All right,
I'm not taking a hit.
back on track. What's wrong with the Chargers?
The Chargers offense looked fine. Like they got
was never
stalled
the
out on
problem.
some third downs, but it wasn't the problem. It's the secondary. They're making big mistakes, and you're seeing that they've allowed 6 explosive play, like what is classified by PFF as explosive plays.
PFF.
They've made 6 of them in that game. They are second in the league this season for explosive plays allowed. They are just not showing up. I mean, Michael Davis in 2 games so far has allowed a fourth quarter touchdown each game.
I mean,
Like, he's suspect.
I love it.
That's suspect right there.
Start betting against the Chargers is what you're telling me.
Anybody who's lining up on their number 2 outside of Derwin James,
Yeah.
whoever the number 2 receiver is, just go get him for 50 yards
I
because
love
Michael
it.
Davis is going to allow it.
Do you think at one point like the Chargers like should just realize they're the Chargers, or is this like a coaching issue for you?
It might be a coaching issue. No, I stood by Brandon Staley last season.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, maybe he's still figuring it out.Maybe it's just the curse of the Chargers. Did you see the punt they had right
I was about to
after
say
the
it.
first quarter?
Yeah, it's awful. They,
4th and 1 on the 44. On the opponent's 44, why are you punting?
I'm
Go
going
for it.
Every single time.
65.7% of the time, that's a first down.
Yeah, it's
Run the odds.
crazy to me how often I see the Chargers just charger themselves, and it's like I should get used to it, right?
You think you would, but just seeing him get so close every single time, you're like, this is the moment that I could break it because you want the best. You want that hope.
Sure, but like I mean, it's look, we were in LA. We grew up in LA. Chargers
Yes.
are kind of like a home team for us. I mean, they were in San Diego most of our lives, but
It's not surprising to see fans.
this is the saddest I've seen the fan base in a long time.
Well, with an 0-2 start, it's a gut punch.
No, for sure. And we're going to talk about the 0-2 start in a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next game. It's the Dolphins versus Patriots. Don, this offense is so crazy. What they do with Tyreek Hill, where he's like lining up at tight end, lining up at the backfield, always in motion, so that way by the time the ball's hiked, he's already at full speed. It's actually crazy.
They're taking from the Canadian football playbook.
Isn't it? That's what exactly what I thought.
That is it.
Or like Arena League, where they're like starting 15 yards back and they're
And
running.
they can run forward.
Yeah.
They're just doing that, but moving Tyreek laterally, and he could cut on a dime and take off. And no one's going to catch up to him.
Well, I think like this is probably going to be Tyreek Hill's worst game, and he still caught like a touchdown.
He was held 40 yards by the rookie Christian Gonzalez.
Who's-
all the respect
out
to
our boy.
Christian Gonzalez.
Shout out
holding
Pac-12,
that.
which is dead now.
Yeah, basically.
Oregon alum. I just look. We're gonna get into the Patriots again later.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots, Mac Jones looks beat.
I had the opposite opinion. He looked good because they're finally letting him throw downfield. I think that's the big difference.
Maybe it's because I hate Bill O'Brien. Actually, no, I love Bill O'Brien for what he did and destroyed the Texans.
He is the beautiful meme coach.
Yeah, no, he's great. It's just I can't trust in him.
I don't always trust the play call every time because there are routes and combinations I think can do better for what the offense is for the weapons they have. That being said, the fact that you see Mac Jones finally able to push the ball downfield
To who? Kendrick Bourne?
They had the Dolphins twice dead to rights in this game where they could have put it away and then turnover. They had Philly to the brink. This team it's one score game. They just need something to break their way.
You believe in the
Patriots? I don't believe in the Patriots to be a big playoff run. I don't think that they're going to go far. I think they're one.
Are they
maybe
the definition
two,
of mid?
Yes, they are the mid team because they can go. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat any team, but I'm not surprised if they lose these close games either.
Interesting.
They just need one or two weapons, I think, like a big playmaker to change that team, to change that offense. They're just missing one big piece.
Let's move on to the Monday night game. The first one is Saints versus Panthers. Look, I think Raiders fans might have been right about Derek Carr. I was a Derek Carr preacher. I was telling my friends that were Raider fans. My dad's a Raider fan. I was telling them I like Derek Carr. I believe in him. I think he's actually like the 15th best quarterback in the league. He's fine. You can win if he's on a really good team. I think the Saints are a good enough team, and he's actually looks worse. He looks bad.
He hasn't looked good. One thing I do think that he brings is he doesn't make a lot of critical mistakes.
He's so safe.
He's safe, and that's what this team needs. Because that defense is going to carry them. They have yet to allow a touchdown this season. I know it's week 2. It's going to be hyperbole a little bit.
No. Thielen caught a touchdown today.
I thought that was pulled back.
I have no idea.
I thought the Thielen one was pulled back. I thought the Carolina just lived on field goals.
Maybe. I don't know. Let me look at the box score.
Double check the box score there. But they look good. I know he looks shaky, but I think it's just more of a timing issue, just trying to work out the team. There's a few of those routes with Michael Thomas where Thomas runs a very specific style, a very aggressive running style that not a lot of receivers ever do. And you could tell there was timing issues there on the short. I'm going to push the defender for 4 yards, cut the way I like to cut, where normally the route's this way, but the route will be to the outside. Thomas sees it inside. He knows a turn. That mind meld just isn't there yet. But he was throwing the deep ball well last week. Like Carr, he hit a few. He hit a few. The Shaheed.
Well, I need the Chris Olave points. I keep betting his overs, and it's not happening.
I think they need to run Olave similar to how they run Tyreek or Waddle, just deep crossing routes. That's what's going to open that up. Because Shaheed, let him run the 9.
I love Olave.
Olave's great. Yeah. No, he is a smooth route runner. All respect to him.
I think the defense for the Saints is going to keep them in games. I think their defense is really good because their head coach is just a defensive coordinator who probably shouldn't be a head coach. There's a couple of those in the league, a.k.a. the Bears.
Look, they're only going to improve once Kamara's back.
The Panthers are also like one of these teams that they're supposed to be bad, but I need them to be good because they have no picks. They lost their first round pick to come up and get Bryce Young. They don't own it, so they actually have to win games.
This team hasn't looked disgusting to me. They've looked bad. They have looked bad, but I think it's more we have a rookie quarterback and our number 1 receiver is almost retired. I think that's the issue with the Thielen and Bryce Young there. But Young, he isn't shaken up by anything. He took hits in this game.
Yeah, I mean he's tiny. That's what he's going to do.
But he looked calm afterwards. He never looked shaken. Didn't look panicked at all. He was smiling. He was working. Like he would go over and start working with the receivers. Hey, what can I do? What can I improve? That's what you want out of a young quarterback.
Yeah, I think the Bryce Young experience could go really, really sour.
Really?
Yeah, I think if they don't get a legit wide receiver 1 for this guy next year, not Adam Thielen, not drafting Mingo, I mean like an actual bona fide wide receiver 1 for him, he's going to not get to the point where you really want him to. And in this league, if you're not a legit starter by year 3, there is no more patience for you. You are shut down.
Yeah, there's very few people who are given that kind of time to develop. But
the Panthers don't have a ton of cap either. They spent money a little bit this offseason. That way they can build around him. But they need to make a move. Hopefully, maybe even by like the trade deadline. I would love to see like a Tyler Lockett get into Carolina and just really help him open up the passing game.
I think that's what they wanted out of Thielen, but Thielen's just not there physically anymore.
He's just not. that kind of guy.
He's
anymore.
not. Well, I mean,
They have DJ Chark, I guess. who's
Chark's
like that
okay.
deep guy.
Mingo's coming around. Hayden Hurst has been his best friend, and
I
I think
love
that's a
Hayden Hurst.
great addition there. Hayden
love Hayden
Hurst is
Hurst.
solid. The pass rush for the Panthers, though, is real.
Yeah, I mean Brian Burns, he switched his number to 0. I don't think this is a hot
the 9
take.
players to do that. Yeah.
0 is the coolest number on the field. I don't care what anyone says. It's elite. I feel like if you're wearing 0, I'm like, that's a star. If you're not a star wearing 0, get it off your chest.
Yeah, you can't make a mistake. It's you
Can't
calling.
do it.
It's you calling your own number from the beginning of the season.
Correct.
This is going to be a breakout year.
I want people wearing like different numbers. Let's keep doing alternative numbers. Like put a star on the jersey. Who cares?
Oh my goodness.
Let's do negative numbers. -20. I'll watch it. Who cares? Well, let's retire everything. I'm in for it. Let's move on to the next game. Browns versus Steelers. Don.
Steelers got away with one in my mind. The defense carried this game.
I'm going to give context.
Yes.
You're a Ravens fan.
Yes.
Now talk.
Okay. I mean, yes. No, it was the last call of the Browns drive, that PI call. That to me was pretty blatant when you could see the jersey being pulled down low enough that you could see the pads underneath. Mm-hmm. That should be called a PI call.
You
Now,
love to call penalties when it affects you.
No, to me that one was a big miss.
I don't think so.
Because that was the drive killer.
I agree. It was a drive.
But I think at the same time, I cannot say with any sense of confidence that the Browns would have scored there. That D-line was getting after Watson every single
You're
down.
putting yourself in a real predicament right now because you have to either root for the Steelers, who you hate, or Deshaun Watson, who you hate.
Oh, I just wanted to see the play called correctly and just let it run that way because I don't like the idea of a blatant penalty pulling away from the drive.
The game.
Because that ball looked borderline catchable. I'd rather see Watson throw it and just miss
Yeah.
than have any excuse of, oh, well, it's PI, so it didn't count, and having that kind of ammunition moving forward.
Okay. How has Watson impressed you?
His mobility does look a little bit better this season, but he keeps grabbing on dudes' face masks.
Yeah, that's like a real thing now.
That is an actual issue at this
yeah,
point.
no, it's kind of like, hey, man, you grab a lot of things.
Like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But it worries me. It worries me from a player health side too. Of one of these linemen are just going to turn their head real quick and snap a finger. Like if your hand is in the cage and he's gripping onto the cage, it doesn't take much to get that wrist to turn.
Nah, you trust me. Those guys aren't that tender. They're. I mean, sometimes. I mean, JK is.
Goodness.
Look, it's. I really do like what the Steelers did. I think going into this season, I had them still positive. I had their offense getting better.
Yeah.
They've done nothing but even disappoint the small marks that I had them. I think I had them at 9 wins coming into the season.
I think this is the first season that Tomlin's under 500, and everyone has bet that over the years. Everyone has made that take of this is the year. This is the year.
It's like
It might be because without the 71-yard slant on the busted zone coverage by the Browns.
yeah,
So take that one huge play out of it.
yeah.
Pickett only threw for 150 yards.
I agree. I mean,
Like
Pickett is not impressed anyone.
no, Najee barely got anything going on the ground. Like the end of the game where he's starting to run the entire field side to side to get open, to get some lanes opened up.
Yeah.
That was there. But that offense has looked stagnant. Deontay out, it looks even worse.
I agree, but I do think that they're going to figure it out, except I want to believe that they're going to figure it out. But then Matt Canada's sitting there on the sideline with this stupid face, and I have to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to figure it out. I know he's not.
No,
I know he's not going to do it.
What we saw this week.
He draws his plays in crayon. I'm sick of him.
No, he shouldn't be a coordinator right now.
No.
He'd be a great coordinator for a team that's already developed an offensive mindset and he could survive in that kind of mindset. Like he could survive in that kind of situation.
I think he's a college coach at best.
He'd do even better there.
I want to give you your kudos. You told me before the season started, and I was fighting it. I was fighting it like hell. That Najee Harris was not going to be Najee Harris, and Najee Harris. There was at the end of the game, he started to look better, but like Najee is not the guy we all expected him to be. I'm looking at his stats right now: 10 for 43.
That's
Awful.
not terrible, but
It's not great.
It's 4.3 yards a carry is not.
But why are you only giving the ball to Najee 10 times? I get Warren's there, but
Well, look
6 for 20.
No, look at the receiving work. That's the worrisome part with that backfield. Because the Steelers has
One catch.
1 catch for Najee, 6 for Warren.
4 for Warren. 66
Warren.
yards, 6 targets. Crazy.
Yeah, 6 targets for Warren there.
That's crazy.
Warren's going to get the work. This is the first time I've seen the Steeler backfield truly go, yeah, we'll do committee this time.
Yeah, I never thought I would see it happen.
No, but everyone still remembers the Najee season when Ben was still there.
Yeah.
And Najee was the guy because he was getting the checkdowns. He was getting all the runs. He was 90% of the offense, realistically.
Yeah.
That's not this offense anymore.
No.
Najee, it does not have that big explosive factor. Warren is able to get the flats a little bit better on the receiving work, and that O-line is just not there. They cannot create the same gaps. They cannot create the same holes.
I think they're a better pass.
They're good at pass, but they can't. They're not going to power block down the field for Najee.
They get a little stagnant there. I'd be an idiot not to bring up Nick Chubb getting injured, which is terrible. Shout out to Nick Chubb. I hope you know, probably the best pure runner in the NFL right now.
Maybe other than Derrick Henry, yeah. Like just
don't disrespect me with that.
Those two guys just run angry, but yeah, left knee injury, had to get carted off the field.
Not good.
As of a few hours after the game, they still haven't announced officially what the injury was.
A lot of people speculate ACL.
Yeah,
MCL.
Well, the fact he wasn't able to put any weight on it, you see him trying to get up and just could not rise up on that leg. I pray it's not a season ender, but it might be.
I do have to talk about one thing. It's a historic night for TJ Watt. He passed the all-time Steelers sack leader with 81.5 tonight, and he scored a touchdown. I want to give you a question. You give me this. Is TJ Watt the best outside linebacker or defensive end in the league right now? Because I think so, yes. I think he's the best by far. And I think 2 Watts have now dominated an entire decade at the most pivotal position on the defense.
It's the Watts and the Bosas. Those are the only names you need to bring up when it comes to ends at this point on the line.
Well, I mean,
but I think the Watts are a little bit ahead right now, especially with TJ doing what he's doing. I do agree, best defensive end in the league right now.
You would take TJ over Myles Garrett?
I would.
Would you take TJ over Micah Parsons?
That's where it gets close.
So I'm a Micah Parsons fanboy. I love Micah Parsons, and I hate the Cowboys. I think I'd still take TJ Watt. I mean, you just can't.
I think the biggest difference to me is Parsons, I think, is a little faster.
Yeah.
But TJ's motor just does not end.
It's crazy.
It's as if he's a man possessed on the field.
Yeah. We got to get into the next thing. We're going to go through every game right now. Okay. We're going to give them real quick, one sentence. You give me off the first thing that comes to your, that you've written or comes to your brain.
Yeah. Let's do it.
On every game that we've seen this week.
Okay.
So let's start with the Thursday night game, the Vikings versus Eagles. I'm going to go first. I'll start with the Vikings. Justin Jefferson's the best receiver I've ever seen, and it's going to happen again.
I completely agree there. For me, I'm worried about the Eagles' passing game. Hurts does not look as confident throwing the ball or running the ball for extended plays this season. Watch out for it.
Do you have anything on the Vikings?
They need help in their secondary.
Just say something about Madison. I just want you to say something about Madison.
I know. I was a Madison truther at the beginning of this year. No, I think that they need to start using him in the passing game more. That's going to open up those run lanes for him if they start using him just a couple more times in the flat, a couple more times as a decoy.
I totally disagree.
That's going to open it up, I feel.
I think the Eagles are in an offensive, woe right now. They lost their offensive coordinator. They need to figure out what keeps that offense going, even if it's just doing that quarterback sneak 40 times a game. Let's go to a personal game of mine, the Colts versus the Texans. 31-20. Anthony Richardson is the real deal at running the ball, but his second time getting hurt, I'm already scared.
Oh, I was trying to warn you at the beginning of this season when you were on it. Like we for those listeners who don't know, we took a bet at the beginning of this year. I had Richardson under 15.5 passing yards. I do not feel good about where it sits right now based on injury. I didn't want it to go that way.
I mean, he's probably going to play this week.
He might.
No, I mean it's looking good.
Yeah, it's looking good that he returns. I'm just worried about him because he doesn't go down. Yeah. And he's taking big hits that he should not take as a rookie because that's a big transition of college guys They're going to hit you. You could still kind of roll. You're probably bigger than most of them. The NFL, they're going to lay you out.
Yeah.
And I think he still needs to realize he's not the biggest guy on the field.
These are the longest sentences I've ever heard from you.
I apologize.
Texans. Anything about the Texans? CJ Stroud's impressed the shit out of me.
Oh,
my bad.
Completely he has. He threw for, 384 yards.
Yeah, he was insane.
Just lit up the defense. Nico Collins, who knew he could be a surprisingly strong weapon.
It's not Nico Collins. The Colts secondary is going to be like the worst in the league at the end of the year. They're awful.
No, but I mean, just the fact that he's been the most targeted receiver on that team.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Woods is actually eating too. Like they're both putting up numbers.
He's sustaining them.
You know who's not putting up numbers? Dameon Pierce.
It's the O-line. It's just the O-line is not creating holes right now. It's just not in his favor.
This is going to be a big one for me. The Chicago Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to go first. I was a Justin Fields guy. I've been a Justin Fields guy. I'm no longer a Justin Fields guy, and that's where I leave it at.
You're off the train that quickly.
I'm off the train. Not that quickly. Look, I came home last night, and the only thing I wanted to do was create a Madden player where I took the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl because I'm tired of seeing that organization in squalor.
Fields, he needs to develop the passing work still.
It's just not happening.
And it's just not happening. I don't know if it's a work ethic because they brought in Moore. Moore is one of the, we agree, a very, very good receiver.
It's a very good receiver. I think he can get
one of the most
top
consistent
15
guys out there. And it's just, I don't know what's up with that offense.
Say something nice about Baker Mayfield, Don. I know it's tough for you.
You know what? I do love the motivation and drive that he's shown this season. Like he's playing that tough guy, like I still got it, I'm going to run over you kind of mentality. And I think that's firing up that offense in a big way.
I love Baker Mayfield, but let's be honest. What week does the wheels fall off the track?
I mean, it might be this week with the matchup.
Honestly,
I don't like their matchup this week. This might be it.
Let's go on to the Packers-Falcons. Packers-Falcons. The Falcons, for the past 2 years, have led the league in rushing offense. And guess what, Don? They're going to do it again this year.
Oh, completely they will. Especially, they telegraph the league, we're going to be nothing but running the ball the minute they draft a Bijan.
Ritter really impressed me. And if they learn that Kyle Pitts is open every single play, eventually they'll figure it out.
You would hope so. I mean, the man has rookie year 1,000 yards and then just disappeared since.
Green Bay Packers, have you been impressed by Jordan Love? Because I have been.
Completely. But I'm impressed. And then at the same time, I'm just like, it's Green Bay. They know how to develop their quarterbacks.
Dude, they're doing this without their two best offensive weapons.
Yeah, with Aaron Jones out.
And Christian Watson.
And Watson gone.
Like, it's crazy. They said that a lot of Jaden Reed's routes are Christian Watson's based. They're really excited for him to come back. They said he could have played this week, but they wanted to make sure that hamstring was at 100%. So we'll see where he's at next week.
You don't want it lingering throughout the season.
Yeah,
get him healthy.
Because if you re-aggravate the hamstring, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
One of the best games of the weekend. Seattle, Detroit, Seahawks, Lions.
Incredible shootout. I was very surprised by the Seahawks being able to keep Hutchinson in check, considering they're missing both of their tackles there.
Yeah,
it's like that showed a lot of grit, but that was just a fun game.
Was it a hold?
I think it was a borderline hold. I think it was a hold. It did look like
I think
a hold,
it's a hold too.
But I will asterisk it in saying I don't know if Hutchinson had time to get the Geno to affect anything but just added pressure. I don't know if he would have got a hand there.
I think it was a hold, but I bet the Seahawks, so I don't really care. I'm going to say this every episode. I hope everybody listens. Geno Smith regression year. I've been saying it all summer. It's been my favorite thing every time he throws back. It's going to happen. He's not Geno Smith regression year. It's happening.
We'll see. He
Detroit
well.
Lions masks up. I'm a Jahmyr Gibbs owner in every single fantasy football league. David Montgomery goes out. I hope he's healthy. But if Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't get 15 touches next week, I will fly to Detroit. I will find Dan Campbell's house, and I will give him a nice warm hug until he passes out.
I mean, good luck. That is a scary, scary man.
I bite kneecaps off. That's a reference for his, opening interview.
Goff threw his first interception in forever. He was, I think, three.
That's
or
a
four.
Donovan stat if I've ever heard it.
Well, his Goff was 3 or 4 passes away from setting the NFL record for most consecutive passes without interception.
Yeah,
and
he was like 40 yards or something like that away, or like 5 passes.
I think it was 5 passes ish, and then of course it was the announcer jinx. The minute they mentioned it, 2 plays later, there's the pick.
They gotta just shut up in that box. I stopped listening to them if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, I
just listen to myself talk. Chargers, Titans, we already did that. Raiders, Bills. I took the Bills heavy in this game. I love what the Bills are going to do. I don't think the Bills are dead like everybody else thinks. I do believe Josh Allen is just the new Cam Newton, and that's where we're at with the Bills for me. James Cook is good.
James Cook is good. Josh Allen's confusing me so much with some of these throws he's making. He's like, triple coverage means nothing to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Gabe Davis is down there somewhere.
And it's like, oh my, just be a little bit smart. He's gotten smarter with his rushing. He isn't trying to power through.
Really,
the
he tried to jump over a Raider this week.
Oh yeah, well,
and he got tomahawk slammed. Like
no, he didn't get slammed because it was Epps who was on his college team together. They hugged afterwards. But I mean, that's goal line work. He's just not taking these chances in the midfield the same way he used.
Anything
to.
about the Raiders besides Josh Jacobs having -2 rushing yards?
I mean, I put that more on the Bills D line than anything there.
Are you a Jimmy G guy?
No, but I think he's going to be passable for the next few seasons. They upgraded from Derek Carr to Derek Carr Light.
I love it. It's that's a perfect. Chiefs Jaguars. If you would have told me in the offseason Chiefs Jaguars are going to be the most boring game of the week, I would have slapped you across the face.
I mean, a lot of people are calling the Chiefs regression season.
Are you?
Finally the end of the dynasty. I think Mahomes is going to figure it out. I trust Reid Mahomes too much. It's scary.
In about 2 weeks when Kelsey's back to 100% because he was kind of forced to play this week and still scored. He almost scored twice.
I mean, that's just the talent of the guy there, but. It's just they don't have a singular weapon outside of Kelsey that is trusted to that level right now. They'll get there.
Chris Jones was back and he did great.
Just immediately change that defense.
Trevor Lawrence. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence like everybody else does. I think he's really good. I don't think he's ever going to be a top 5 quarterback. Some people already have him at like 2, 3. I do think he could win MVP this year. I know that was stupid that I just said those two things. I think Trevor Lawrence is as good as his weapons are. I think he's serviceable. I think he's probably going to be around the 8, 9, 10 quarterback in the league for the next 10 years.
I can see that. He's definitely upper echelon. He doesn't.
I'd just rather have Herbert.
I'd rather have Herbert. He can't take over a game the same way I think Herbert can.
Yeah.
But he's not going to make the same mistakes that a Herbert Josh Allen does. Yeah. So he's not going to lose you the game, but he's not going to put up a single-handedly magical game that like Mahomes can.
Shout out to Calvin Ridley. Ooh, kill him.
Guy's doing good.
49ers Rams home game for us. Look.
Yeah. Right in our backyard.
Puka, Kyron, healthy Stafford. You bet on healthy Stafford. Aaron Donald's good.
The Rams don't make sense to me right now.
I do believe that Sean McVay is cheating. So I think Sean McVay is gambling on games. There was a point where they were down by 10. They had like 30 seconds left, or like 3 seconds left, and they went for a field goal.
Oh, he covered the spread.
The spread was -7.
7.5 was the opening line.
He tried to cover the spread.
He did. He covered it.
I know.
I don't think
the guy who bet the Niners and pushed. Not a great day for me.
No, not a great day.
Niners, best team in the league.
Right now, yeah. Until someone else can prove it, I think Niners are the team to beat.
Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the league?
I think that's just a common sense.
I love it. That defense is crazy.
Scary,
next game, Giants, Cardinals. You ever seen someone... This is like the tortoise and the hare like retelling this game was. Where the Cardinals are like, we're going to outrun you. We're going to do everything 28 to 7 at one point, and then just fumbled the bag.
Yeah, they scored 21 unanswered at one point. I think this was the best thing for the Cardinals fan base because you got all the players on the team showing a lot of heart, showing a lot of grit, showing the effort. We can do it. And then the team going, but the first overall pick matters more. We'll give the fan service what they want. Now let's go. Let's focus on the future.
All right. We got a few more games. We got Jets, Cowboys.
It's going to be ugly for the Jets for the next few weeks.
It's a wrap for the Jets.
Yeah, no one's going to trust Zach Wilson
to
get the ball, stack 8 in the box. Let's see what he can do.
4 more primetime games. Cowboys are legit. I said it on another app. I think the Cowboys are probably going to win their division this year.
Yeah, Cowboys are gangster.
Commanders, Broncos. Ew.
I don't trust
That's
Russ.
my only comment.
I still don't trust Russ. I know he put up, like, statistically, he did well this game. Did not look good.
I think they're last in their division this year. I think Sam Howell's really impressed me, but even then, he's just like...
He still has to develop.
Washington quarterbacks kind of all have the same flavor. Washington quarterbacks are like eating at Taco Bell. Every time you, like, take a bite, you're like, this tastes just like the last one.
A little bit. Yeah, he does have that Heineke vibe to him, just deeper arm, less mistakes.
Yeah. All right, let's move into the busted player of the week. Player that just absolutely busted, disappointed you. Don, give me your guy.
I didn't do player. I went coach this week
like it.
did Brian Daboll. How do you go? You as a head coach make no sense right now. Like Danny Dimes created magic for you in the second half. This dude absolutely pulled the game out of a hat. I don't understand how they came back. You had a top half defense last season, second in the league in fumble recoveries, and for some reason they can't look like they'll stop anything this week or for this last 2 games.
I think they're one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, they went from borderline playoff hope to basement dweller.
If the Cardinals weren't like actively tanking, they would have gotten killed.
Agreed.
They went 6 quarters this season without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, and that to me that's a coaching issue.
I think so
because
too.
they brought in weapons, like they added guys.
My bust of the week is Justin Fields. I've already said it. He's disappointed the shit out of me. I do believe that they need to call more runs for him. Some people were saying it's play calling. There was just times where he has the ball in his hands and there's people wide open, and it's just he's just not throwing it.
He doesn't look confident. He doesn't look confident.
We're going to move on to the Gold Star Player of the Week. This is what we're going to do. We're going to mail every player a Gold Star sticker. If they don't get it, well, then they hate us. Don, who's your Gold Star Player of the Week?
This feels disgusting.
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
Nah, just give it to me.
Zach Moss.
Oh, dude, thank you. That's the nicest thing you said about the Colts in like a year.
It hurts inside to say it. I hate saying it, but I put him
Did you hear how I was giving the Ravens all their juice and glory? Because I like seeing my friend happy, but he likes to see me in pure sadness. Go, talk about Zach Moss. I just look at
it realistically. I think Moss, and I'll even throw Swift as an adjacent, like a number 2 there, took the opportunity and ran with it. Both of them exploded in games that we did not expect them to do this with.
I did. I started them.
All the respect to those 2 guys.
Mine is and if you didn't watch college football this weekend, you didn't see it. It's the fat kicker from Missouri, Harrison Melvis. He weighs 245 pounds, and he hit the longest kick in SEC history to seal the game. He also made me a lot of money. So shout out to Harrison Melvis.
Hey, great kick, man. Great kick.
Let's move on to our next segment. It's called Rank 'em. We're going to go through every single 0-2 team. We're going to rank them from best to worst.
Okay.
We're going to start at 1. We can give them a quick talk. We've talked about every team, so we don't have to go through it. My number 1 0-2 team right now is the Chargers.
Real? Okay. I'm not mad at it.
I think the Chargers still have like actual playoff hopes. I know at the percentage of being 0-2 is harder to get into the playoffs, but I actually do believe that they can figure out what's going on in that secondary. I don't think that they're insane, but the Chargers can still get on a little roll, get to 10-7, and sneak into that last wild card.
I think they can too. I like the Chargers. My number 1 personally would be the Bengals for that exact same reason. I think the minute Burrow's calf is solidified, the minute it's just no longer bothering him.
And the Bengals do this every year.
Yeah, they do. They're going to explode. It's just whether or not they could get the 9-10 wins they need. But it's just dependent on that injury.
What's your number 2 team?
My number 2 would be the Chargers in that case. For
cool.
Those 2 are interchangeable at the top to me. Just they're too explosive, too much talent.
So Bengals aren't my number 2.
Really?
The Vikings are my number 2.
Okay.
I think the Vikings play in a very bad division.
Okay.
I think the Lions are good. I think the Packers are going to be like annoying, but I could also see all the Lions, Packers, and Vikings all get into playoffs.
Considering how weak the NFC is, I could see it.
Now, this team's going to have to be in huge blowout games. They cannot run the ball because Alexander Madison's awful. So
yeah, terrible yards per carry.
My number 3 was the Bengals.
Okay, my number 3 is the Vikings for those same reasons. Vikings, very explosive team. They're going to keep these shootouts. They had luck on their side last season. Let's see if they could get it back.
Do you think we're going to have the same number 4?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I have the Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, we have the same number 4. All right, that's...
we might be chalked the rest of the way, Don.
Maybe.
The Patriots are the 4th best 0-2 team. I don't think they're playoffs. Like we said, they're the definition of mid.
they are going to upset someone else's playoff hopes.
It's going to be great.
They're going to be that team
great.
that's
I think
going to be in the
Patriot-
hunt for until week 17.
I think Patriots fans are greedy. I think they still think they're this legit thing. I think they need to realize they've always been a bad organization. They've always been piss poor, and the only reason they were winning was because they had the greatest quarterback probably ever to play. I'm never going to say that ever again. My number 5 team is the Broncos.
Okay, see, I have Broncos a little bit lower.
What do you got?
I actually got the Panthers up there.
Okay, so I have the Panthers 6.
Okay, so
yeah.
we're close there again. No, I think the Panthers have a good D-line. I think that Bryce Young can figure it out. Like, he has enough talent around him, just no elite game-breaking talent.
I think he's just like gonna be whatever. I think he's just gonna be fine. The Panthers are just gonna be fine.
5-6 win season is enough.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be like a 6-win team. I do think the Broncos are gonna also get to 6, but they're gonna make it look a little prettier. I do still kind of believe in Sean Payton, but at the end of the day, I think that's the worst team in that division. At the end of the day,
It realistically is. Sean Payton's not the issue. It's Russell Wilson.
did you have Broncos at 6?
I had Broncos at 6.
All right, so let's see how my 7 was Bears.
Okay, see, my 7 was going to be the Texans.
Okay, my 8's the Texans.
Okay, yeah, so 8's Bears. So
Yeah.
we just flipped on a few of these.
Bears. I do still believe that they're going to kind of figure. I know I made him my busted player of the week, and I know I said I've given up on Justin Fields, but I can't. I can't give up on him. I just can't.
He's too talented to not go. Like
I own too many bets on Justin Fields to give up on him.
That makes sense then. Okay, no, he could break a game with his rushing ability, but it's just
I know.
He's once defenses figure that out in a very strong way.
They let him shoot from the pocket all week.
And it just did not look pretty.
Texans. You're impressed by the Texans? I'm actually impressed by CJ Stroud, and I'm really angry about it.
Stroud is very, very good, and it's showing up. Like the amount of talent that kid has is showing up over the last 2 games. If they can figure out the run offense a little bit better, that's going to elevate that entire offense to being competitive.
Yeah,
it's just the defense is just gutted still.
And they need to win because they don't have a first-round pick next year.
No, but they still have a good amount of deeper picks that are just going to bring in a lot of supports.
We have the same worst team in the league. Look at that, Cardinals.
I mean, they're the most blatant taking team at the moment right now.
Do you think they finished the worst team in the league?
Oh, easily.
Do you think Kyler Murray plays football this year?
Yes. I think Kyler's going to come back.
And they still finish the worst team in the league.
And they're still going to finish the worst team in the league. So I don't know if they win more than 1 game until he comes back.
I disagree so wholeheartedly. I think they're going to be tanking. Kyler comes back, and they're going to be like, let's just sit him out. Let's go get that Caleb Williams. That sweet, sweet Caleb Williams. Shout out SC Fight On.
I think they're going to have Kyler come play a game or 2 to try to trade him and just to lock down the Williams pick even more.
All right, let's move on. We only have 2 more things to talk about today. This is Predict the Future. We're going to go into the future now. We're going to be talking about next week's games. Let's talk about the Giants-Niners Thursday night. We're going to go, semi-fast on. I don't care how good Danny Dimes played. I know you don't either. I'm taking the 49ers. It seems like the 49ers are on a mission from God to just smite all the bad teams.
No, I could not agree more.
Yes.
49ers, this should be a rout. This isn't like the D-line's too strong. We already saw what happens when a strong D-line plays against the Giants. When the Cowboys game, I just hope Danny doesn't get hurt. That's my biggest hope. I mean,
they sacrificed Saquon for a win against the Cardinals. What do you think's going to the football gods are just, Don.
Oh, goodness.
And look, I know the San Francisco's plight every single year is injuries.
They can play 1 half and still win this game. Play 1 half, get all your guys out of injury way, put in your backups, and you'll still hold it down.
That's what the Cardinals did. They gave up all their points in the first half. Maybe. Who knows? But
that might be the move.
49ers could score like 40 in 1 half. Chargers-Vikings. I'm so excited. I think this might be my game of the week.
This is going to be the best shootout. You need to watch this game just if you're a fan of offense.
Am I crazy for 54.5 over-under and just hammering the over?
Oh, I'm taking it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way that this game is going to be under 50 points in my mind.
So news came out that they're expecting to hold Eckler out for a lot longer.
Makes sense.
Sounds like he's not going to play this weekend either.
Yeah. There's an indefinite on his injury right now, which could mean 4 days or it could mean 4 months.
Yeah. Madison, as we've talked about, I mean, 50 yards maybe?
Use him in the passing game, and I think he could pull out 50, 60 yards and a TD.
I mean, you're living off TDs for him.
Yeah, no, he's going to be TD dependent.
Justin Jefferson, let's go, baby.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, all will eat.
I love Mike Williams.
What I think is going to be the
crazy dirty stuff last week. by the way.
they're finally using him in the deeper passing
It's
game, and
crazy.
it's great. To me, the biggest difference in this game is going to be where KJ Osborne is, because if he's behind
Mr. No Hands.
Well, if he's behind Addison on the depth chart, where he should be is going to elevate that passing game. Addison needs to be number 2. He needs to have a clear cut. He is going to be our number 2 role. We're going to play him both on him opposite of Jefferson. That's going to scare
Apparently,
defenses.
Madison's having issues learning the playbook, and apparently his route tree is not as defined as
All he
they're
needs is
using
the 9
KJ.
route. All he needs is the 9 route.
Just a 9 route and a post.
That's it. That's all you need him for, and he will make it work.
Steelers versus Raiders. This is the Sunday night football game.
This is going to be gross. This is going to be a gross game. Both teams was
I
strong.
want to hear who do you think is going to win?
I think
Give me my bad. Chargers Vikings. Who do you have winner?
I'm going to say Chargers,
I'm
but
thinking Chargers too.
I don't like it. It's not a game I would bet on the spread at all.
Raiders Steelers.
This is going to be a gross game. Both strong defensive lines with motors that do not quit. I think that the Raiders figure it out with Devontae Adams. I'm just going to bet on the talent side. Josh Jacobs, Devontae, I like more than a lot of the weapons the Steelers have right now. But it's going to come over to
with you.
It's going to be turnovers. That's what's going to be the bane of this game is who gets more turnovers.
I don't like that I agree with you. I do think the Raiders are probably going to win this. But, like, TJ Watt's good for, like, 7 points on himself. Another primetime game where just TJ Watt gives us another highlight. I think this is a gross game, but there's some injuries on the Steelers side, like the Minka stuff and the
Makes me worried for the secondary.
Kenny
there.
Pickett regression. I'm going to take the Raiders reluctantly, but this is just not a fun game.
No, this is going to be a defensive
2
battle.
Monday night games, though. We get Eagles-Bucks as the first one.
Am I the only one who doesn't like these doubleheaders on Monday nights? I'm
right.
not a fan.
I said, let's not do double Monday night headers. I want double Sunday night headers.
I'd rather double Sunday night.
I would love that.
It brings more energy, or just add one extra game to the afternoon slot, because 3 to 4 games in the afternoon on a Sunday does not feel like enough.
Yeah, because here's the thing with the Sunday afternoon games. There's always one game that's like a blowout, one game that's just like 13-10 the entire time until like the fourth quarter when they decide to score, and then like another team that's just a blowout. And it's always like the Broncos, and it's always like the Raiders, and you're always just sitting there like, dude, I don't want to see Puka Williams catch the 19th catch today.
No, I agree. So adding an extra game in that slot, I feel, would kind of raise your chances of having a competitive outing.
Bucks Eagles though.
This is going to be when the Bucks they're going to get into a car crash here. I know they're 2-0 right now. I like the Eagles.
The Eagles have had offensive woes, and the Bucks defense has been eaten.
That's true, but I think just the D-line they're in the trenches. I think the Eagles just win on offense and on defense on those lines.
I don't. I think
it's going to be it's going to be tough.
I think this is the game where they're going to have to rely on Jalen Hurts passing. I think Jalen Hurts is a top 3 quarterback in the league, but I think that offensive coordinator doesn't know what he's doing right now.
No, we saw that with how little A.J. Brown was used last week.
So I am going to take the Bucks, and I'm going to,
I'm taking. Yeah, we'll go head to head on that one.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you want to make a bet?
I like the Eagles. I don't like them a lot.
How about this? Loser has to watch that Nickelodeon primetime game, not the Super Bowl
The one in Germany next week?
The Jaguars game where it's going to be in Nickelodeon vision.
Yeah, they're doing it as Toy Story.
Yeah.
They're going to animate it all and run it as Toy Story.
Loser has to watch that game.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Cool. Rams versus Bengals.
I have this being a closer game. I have this with the Rams hanging in there the entire time.
Yeah, but the Bengals to finally get their get right win.
Yeah, Aaron Donald is going to just make Joe Burrow's limited mobility a big issue.
But you have the Bengals to win?
I have the Bengals to win, but I don't think by much. We'll talk about it later on, but I'm liking the Rams a lot in this game. I just think Bengals pull out some BS.
I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think the Rams are going to show the world, hey, we're not bad. We are good this year. We are going to be competitive, and we're going to get in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, 6.5 point spread. I like the Rams there.
Well, that's a great segue, Don. because we're going into the last part of this show. It's the Pick Six, where me and you are going to take 6 of our favorite bets. We're going to give it out to the people. We're going to, do that. But on top of that, we're also going to be giving out our picks, our cards every weekend.
Yes.
So people can see what we're gambling on, what we're hitting, what we're missing, and what we're busting on, pretty much. Don, give me your first bet of the Pick Six.
My first one is going to be the New England Patriots minus 2.5 over the Jets. I think Belichick has made Zach Wilson's life miserable in the past, and he will continue to do so.
I like that bet. I'm going kind of in the similar style. I'm going Cowboys minus 12. I think the Cowboys are on this like little tear defensively. I was talking about the Ravens defense. I gave you a little hint with the Micah Parsons. This is my time to tell you. I think the Cowboys have the best defense in the league.
Yeah,
I think
they have not shown me otherwise yet.
They have great corners. They have great defensive line that's actually getting to the quarterback. Their linebackers are flying. They are flying.
Yeah, that's a scary, scary team.
And they play the Cardinals. The line's already moved to 12.5. I will still take 12.5. I will take 12.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked there.
Yeah. Don, I'm going to give you my next pick. It's the Bills versus Commanders over at 44.5. The Commanders have told me one thing. They can score.
Yeah.
They're going to score. Brian Robinson runs like a madman.
A lot of talent on that offense.
I'm pretty much betting that Josh Allen doesn't collapse.
I'm not mad at that because I'm riding the similar aspect with you. I'm taking the Bills minus 6.5 in this game.
I love it, Don.
Like I don't think that there's going to be someone in the Washington secondary that's going to stop Diggs. Gabe's probably going to have a good game.
Forbes is pretty good.
Forbes is good, but just I don't think he's good enough to contain Diggs for less than 80 yards.
I'm going to move on to the Vikings-Chargers over. I hinted at it, 54.5. That game's like probably the highest scoring game of the season.
No, we're riding together there.
Let's go.
Vikings coming in off 10 days of rest, and the two of them rank 2nd and 13th in most explosive plays so far this season.
I love it. My next game is going to be the Chiefs versus Bears under at 47.5. The Chiefs have taught me they're not going to score, and if there's anything I know about the Bears, they don't like offense. If they could, they'd punt it every single time.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. I'm going to take an over instead. I'm going to take the points on my other big explosive game this week, Falcons-Lions, over at 46.5. Seattle was successful on the ground 41% of the time. They are able to run the ball against the Lions. That just means the Falcons are going to be able to do it better in my mind. And then the Falcons secondary is just going to get eaten alive by the Lions. This is going to be a great shootout.
I'm moving to college. I'm going Florida State minus 2 against Clemson. I think Clemson's dead. Dabo Swinney's not that guy. I don't think they have the talent around him. I think Florida State's one of the best teams in the country. They're ranked 3rd or 4th right now. Give me Florida State. You're only giving me minus 2. I'm going to hammer that.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with one more NFL pick. I'm taking the Ravens minus 7.5 over the Colts. Richardson might not play in this game, so I think that's going to be, if Gardner Minshew's there, just
Can I be honest? I have a rule that I can't bet against the Colts. If Richardson doesn't play, I would put everything you own on it. I hope Richardson doesn't play, so that way he has the excuse, even if he comes in and sucks, because I think he will against that Ravens defense. I don't want him to play this week at all.
I don't want him to play because he's going to get hit. Like, whether or not he's successful running the ball or whether or not he's just going to be behind the line in the pocket, he's going to get hit. Take a week, secure your knee. You're a rookie. Think about your long-term career.
My last bet might have everyone hate me. I'm taking Oregon versus Colorado over at 71.5. That line for Oregon is going to come down. It's at 21 right now versus Colorado. If it gets anywhere close to 17.5, I'm hammering Oregon with everything I have. I'm shooting all of that I got in the book to go get me Oregon.
That's not bad. And then we have the pick we've made together.
Oh,
yes.
This is how we're going to close it. The pray for the parlay.
Pray for the parlay.
Pray for the parlay. Don, what is our parlay?
Our parlay this week is going to be the Ravens money line, Bills money line. Or no, not Ravens money line. We changed that to the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
So it's Chiefs money line, Bills money line, Cowboys money line, then the Jags and the 49ers. It's plus 176 odds.
175.
175 right there.
Plus 175. Look, none of those teams are going to lose. You put a nice crisp unit on it. You make some money. You walk away. I'm not a parlay guy. I am not a parlay guy.
No, that's more traditionally my aspect.
I'm going to bet this parlay.
Yeah, no, we're both going to ride on this one. It's a safe, secure parlay, I think.
Don't worry. I'll be giving you guys crazier parlays in the future.
Yeah, as we go. We just want to get our toes wet this time.
But thank you guys for listening to the first episode of Bust Picks. We're going to be on a lot of the social media a lot more this time.
Yes.
So stuff like Twitter, we're going to be reacting. We're going to be going through on Instagram, giving you guys fantasy football updates on starts and sits, our picks that we're going to be giving out to the people. On TikTok, we're going to be coming out with videos.
Yep.
We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. Don, anything?
Follow us, all those, at Bust Picks.
We own every domain, and
pray for the parlay.